You are staring at your screen exhausted because you just pasted a massive 200-page document into a chat interface, asked a hyper-specific question, and the model completely hallucinated the answer. Look at the left side of the graphic. We have all been that engineer standing over a laptop expecting the system to parse a mountain of text, only to realize it totally ignored the critical constraints buried right in the middle of page 100. It feels like a betrayal of the technology. But follow the green arrow from the laptop to that massive scrolling document in the center left. Here is what is actually happening under the hood. This isn't a random glitch, it is a fundamental engineering constraint known as the lost in the middle problem. When you feed a massive file into a large language model, the system isn't reading it like a human would. Instead, it is drowning while trying to distribute and maintain mathematical attention weights across thousands and thousands of tokens simultaneously. Now, look closely at that centralized processor icon representing the LLM. Most engineers assume that advanced models treat every single token with equal importance throughout the entire context window. That is completely wrong. Look at the top and bottom labels flanking that central chip. Long-range dependency failure and position bias. The math forcing this architecture actually prioritizes the very beginning and the very end of your data, leaving a massive blind spot right in the dead center. To combat this in production, engineers rely on tools like LangChain or Llama Index to chunk and re-rank data before it ever hits the model. LangChain excels at building complex multi-step chain workflows, while Llama Index is heavily optimized for deep data indexing and retrieval efficiency. But look over to the right side of the screen at stage 3, where the user gets that completely broken, poor answer. We are about to witness the exact moment this architectural blind spot transitions from an annoying chat interface bug into a catastrophic silent failure inside your production pipeline. Think about trying to listen to a single whisper in the middle of a packed, roaring football stadium. That is exactly what you're forcing your backend pipeline to do when you blindly dump an entire Git repository or a massive log file into the context window. Look at the left half of the graphic under system ingestion. When your token count is low, around 20,000 tokens, the model works beautifully. Trace the line down to that first graph on the left. The attention scores are flat, stable, and hovering near 1.0. Everything is captured perfectly. But follow the diagram past that dotted white line in the center, right where it says the attention degradation point. Once you cross into overwhelming text chunks on the right side, the mathematical reality of the transformer architecture shifts completely. Look at the second graph on the lower right. As token counts climb toward 128,000 and beyond, the attention score doesn't just dip gently, it falls off a literal cliff. The mathematical focus collapses into pure noise because the softmax function forces tokens to compete for a finite pool of probability. Here is the twist that catches most developers off guard. A standard chat interface actually masks this collapse by generating a smooth confidence summary that sounds entirely plausible. But when your automated backend pipeline relies on precise data extraction, it doesn't just summarize, it quietly drops critical keys and forgets structural context. Look at the very bottom right corner where the document icons fracture. The system completely breaks down and you get silent accuracy loss without a single error code being thrown. To catch these silent degradation points in production before they destroy your data integrity, engineers rely on observability platforms like Arise Phoenix or Langkit. Arise Phoenix focuses heavily on real-time embedding drift and root cause analysis, whereas Langkit specializes in lightweight automated telemetry signatures for immediate data validation. Look back at that chaotic, noisy neural network diagram on the top right. This total structural collapse means we have to completely change how we feed data into these models, which brings us to the exact software pattern. We need to bypass this mathematical bottleneck entirely. Think of trying to parse a massive code base one single character at a time. It's slow and makes no sense. But feeding the model entire full words doesn't work either. There are just way too many unique words and it would completely destroy the model's efficiency. Here is what is actually happening. Look at the very top of the infographic at the BPE tokenization panel. The system is chopping your input into optimized subword pieces. Words like unforgettable get broken down into smaller pieces like un, fog, and et, which you can see traced with those green lines. This technique called byte pair encoding is the counterintuitive sweet spot. It doesn't treat text as characters, but it doesn't try to store full complex dictionaries either. It balances raw memory efficiency with rich vocabulary recognition by reusing common character pairs across different words. This allows the model to process language it has never seen before by analyzing known subcomponents. Now move your eye down to the large central block, the fixed context window. Think of this as a pipeline with a strictly locked maximum length. All of those token blocks from the step above, like the blue NG and engineering pieces, are literally packed into sequential slots in this rigid grid. It's a finite limited resource. That label at the bottom, pointing right to that progress bar, shows the context window usage is 78% full out of a maximum. If your data flow pushes beyond that limit, it just hits a hard wall. The model has absolutely zero memory of any token that isn't actively sitting inside one of these specific pipeline slots. When those slots get jammed, the system cannot load new information without dumping crucial existing data. This engineering wall forces us to develop creative solutions. Look toward the bottom third of the image at the chunking strategies section. To manage this limited pipeline, engineers must use one of these specific strategies to feed data in digestible chunks. First on the left is simple fixed size chunking. This strategy blindly cuts the data based on character count, and you can trace that flow with the straight green arrows pointing to separate blocks. As the infographic shows with that warning funnel, this approach risks severe information loss by slicing sentences right down the middle, meaning critical related points might be split across separate chunks. Move over to strategy 2 in the middle, recursive character chunking. Here's a pattern interrupt most engineers completely miss. You don't just pick one chunk size and stick to it. You use a layered hierarchy. This algorithm splits on paragraphs first, then sentences, then words. It's way more complex to code, as that last red icon implies, but it works hard to respect the underlying semantic structure. This is the gold standard for preserving context. Two leading tools engineers use for this in production are LangChain and LlamaIndex. LangChain is an orchestration framework for managing massive LLM application pipelines, while LlamaIndex specializes in heavily optimized data retrieval, making it a stronger choice specifically for complex data fetching and advanced indexing. Now look at strategy 3 on the far right, the sliding window here. A window of a fixed size continuously moves along the text. New information flows in and an equivalent amount of old data flows out, visualized by those staggered document icons. This maintains constant up to the second recent context. But it has a counterintuitive drawback. It's incredibly heavy on memory use and processing, effectively double counting many pieces of data to keep things flowing. This whole section on the bottom has focused on how we push data into the model's processor, which brings us to exactly how that raw chunk of code you just analyzed runs deep inside the OpenAI physical architecture. Think about how your computer handles streaming video. It doesn't download the whole 4 GB movie at once. It grabs small chunks, buffers them, and plays them sequentially. This is exactly how the production architecture works. Look over to the left where it says user input text. Your raw prompt is the starting line. Now, trace the white arrow pointing right into the tokenization engine here. Your readable English is converted into raw BPE byte pair encoding. And here's the counterintuitive twist. That encoded text still isn't what the model actually reads. The engine maps those BPE representations directly to unique integer token IDs which are those green numbered blocks you see listed from 0 up to 9. A number like 301 represents the text, not the word itself. Once those raw integers are generated, they flow along that central arrow and begin populating the context window array, which is that big green grid dominate the top center of the screen. Look at that specific number, 128,000 plus tokens. That is the maximum size of this model's universe. It is a strictly finite memory resource. You can see the initial token ID blocks from the engine are loaded into the first slots. That large progress bar along the bottom of the grid, showing usage at 64,512 tokens, tells you how much data is actively sitting in memory. Right now, everything outside this green array is completely invisible to the processing mechanism. This architecture creates a major engineering problem. When your input is massive, like when you're dumping an entire code base, it can never all fit into that green array simultaneously. The system's answer is a sliding window mechanism, which is pictured in that lower gray panel. Think of it like a flashlight beam moving across a long dark room. The mechanism, that highlighted box, isolates a much smaller chunk, like 4096 tokens of the total context. Only this specific active area is sent down to the model's primary attention layers for heavy matrix multiplication. As the model generates text, that flashlight beam literally slides across the massive context window array to look at new chunks of data, pulling fresh tokens into focus and dropping older ones. While this allows us to process long inputs, it creates severe structural weaknesses. To optimize this data flow and prevent silent data truncation in live applications, engineers commonly implement tool combinations like LangChain with Redis or Llama Index with a vector DB such as Pinecone. LangChain provides the multi-step retrieval pipeline, while Redis acts as an ultra-fast semantic cache, drastically reducing expensive API calls and maintaining recent conversation history efficiently. Look now at the panel on the far right with the warning triangle and red X. The context limit enforcement. This entire production pipeline is built to enforce one immutable constraint. The moment that usage bar on the main array hits 100%, the model's memory buffer is totally maxed out. Since the system cannot process beyond that physical limit, the production architecture silently kills the oldest data. It is a standard first in first out buffer management system. The oldest tokens, seen here, represented by the faint red grid and X, are flushed from memory, entirely to create physical space so that the engine can accept new data and continue inferencing. You now know how tokens fill the window. The final question is the mathematical reality. Why do even massive 1 million token context models still suffer from the lost in the middle problem? Think about cramming for a massive exam by reading a 1,000-page textbook in a single night. You will remember the first few chapters vividly, and you might recall the summary at the very end. But everything in the middle blurs into a total haze. Look at the left half of the infographic under the attention weight distribution panel. This is the brutal mathematical reality of a long context model. This sharp U-shaped green curve tracks how the transformer engine actually distributes its focus across a document spanning over 1 million tokens. The beginning and the end spikes have massive attention weights, but look at that deep valley right in the center. The middle mathematically washes out to near zero. Here is the counterintuitive trap that catches senior engineers out in production. Upgrading to a model with a larger context window does not solve this retrieval failure. It literally just stretches the bottom of that U-shaped valley out over a wider distance, making the blind spot even larger. Now follow the diagram across to the right half under the mathematical necessity of chunking strategies. To actually fix this, you cannot rely on the model's raw context memory. You have to force high attention scores across your entire dataset. Look at step 1 and step 2, where that massive document is split into crisp, distinct text chunks. Trace the lines from those isolated chunks through the re-ranking step down to that second graph at the bottom right. Look at how radically different that attention profile looks. By breaking the data down and reorganizing it, you convert that dead U-shaped valley into a series of tight active attention peaks. This process, known as Retrieval Augmented Generation or RAG, ensures the model maintains high scores and precise focus because it only processes highly relevant data spikes. Two tools solve this today: Cohere Rerank and FlashRank. Cohere Rerank offers a powerful cloud-hosted deep learning model for maximum accuracy, while FlashRank is an ultra-fast, lightweight local Python library built specifically for raw speed and minimal latency. Before this video, you probably thought a larger context window was a silver bullet for handling massive code bases. Now you know it's a mathematical trap, and intelligent chunking with re-ranking is the only engineering solution that works. Hit subscribe to get deep architecture breakdowns like this every single week, and click the next video on your screen right now to see how to build an optimized RAG pipeline from scratch.